Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today, I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Millennium Falcon. This is number 7 in the collection, and it was released in 2022. The Millennium Falcon was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and ever since that moment we saw it on the silver screen, it has become a massive fan favorite, not just from Star Wars fans, but science fiction in general. This is a beautiful ship. At the moment, if one of you asked me if this was my favorite or if it's one of the best, I would have to say it's up there. It's one of the best in my entire collection for something this size. But I only have the tiniest of nitpicks, I promise you. The sensor dish right here. It's facing upwards. It should be facing a little more forward, but I understand why they did it. Sometimes we see the Falcon with a dish like this. I get it. Maybe in the future we'll get other versions. But I dig this. I think it's amazing. Now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about the size of this piece. It's about 4.5 inches, or a tad over 11 centimeters long. So it's a very nice size ship and very heavy. You know, it goes for the whole Starships Select line, apparently. They are die-cast and you can feel it. These bad boys are really heavy, especially if you have a bunch of them. So we have a lot to talk about today. If you're new to the channel, what I like to do is go over the mold, show everybody the major points of the vessels, then we'll get a nice close-up view to show everybody at home the fine details these pieces have to offer. You know, where's our money really going? Then we'll look at the paint, put it on a stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, let's kick this video off looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So let's get started. In the front, we have our mandible sections, looking good. Missile launcher should be right here in the center. We have our sensor dish, looking cool, and that actually moves, so let's take a quick look at that. For the dish, it's a little snug, but it is able to rotate all the way around, which is pretty nice. I think that came out great. Cool. Really sharp. Coming down, we have our cockpit, which looks amazing, and the paint is fantastic. I think that looks dope. On the sides, we have our docking rings, looking pretty good. We have our quad turret, and what's cool about this is it can rotate. And the same goes for the bottom one right here, so let's take a quick look at those. And now for the quad gun, they do rotate all the way around. The top one is a little more loose, as you can see, just sort of slid there. The one at the ventral section, or the bottom, is a little tighter. As you can see, a little struggling here. But it is able to rotate all the way around, which is nice and adds a little playability. Really cool. All in all, some great little turrets. Very sharp. Now in the back, we have our heat exhaust vents. All 6 of them, looking good. We have our engines in the back, nicely painted, very blue. Turning it over, we have our 4 rivets, looking very sharp. Right here, we have our main entry ramp, landing gear. Of course, it's away, but all the spots are molded, which is really cool. Copyright crap. And that basically does it. Oh, stand connector port right there. How can I forget that? All in all, though, this is a fantastic piece. So now, let's look at the fine details and really see what we're going after here. Alright, having a closer look, we'll begin with the front of the ship, the mandibles, and then work our way to the aft. So as we can see here, there is a lot going on. We can see all the little pipes, little lines and modules all throughout, which looks pretty good. My favorite part of this is the 2 little recessed areas, and you can see all the little doodads in there, which look fantastic. Moving on to the second mandible. You see how beautiful that looks. I love the details. really sharp. Now right here, these two little things here are like headlights. You can see they're molded quite well, which looks very sharp. Coming down right here, we have our center section, which we know from the Solo film, this should be a escape pod or a cargo area. You can see all the detailing in there, which looks good. We have our top and the bottom is nicely done. For the interior of the mandibles, you see a little gap there. Pretty neat. Now coming back up, you can see the beautiful detailing on here. Just really cool stuff. I love all the pipes, little panel lines. I think it looks fantastic. Look at the little recessed area, all the cool stuff in there. Really cool. Looking sharp. And we'll take a look at the cockpit in just a few. But I really want to get the main ship done, the hull anyway. I think this looks great. Lots of little details, especially around the engine here. Just beautifully done. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I love talking to you guys. But a really cool piece. Just nice detailing. All these doodads. Another recessed area right here. You can see all the little raised sections. Really cool. We have our little port here. Again, looking fantastic. More raised sections and panel lines. And look at that dish. Look at the detail on there. That is fantastic. And you can see underneath, there was really not much there. But for the top here, really sharp. I like this quite a bit. Then we have the other side of our center section. Looking cool. Now for the quad gun, you can see all the panel lines here. There's our cannon right there. We can see the multiple barrels. Really cool. And then it's hard to see, but right here we can see molded sections or supports for the window. I like that. Very nice. And like I said, this can rotate. Turning to the side, look at all the detail here. Tons of little molded details, panels, little doodads. I think this came out great. Now, these do at times suffer the same, issue that some other Hot Wheels have, which is the paint basically rounds off. It's like an enamel paint. So you can see where there should be fine details, everything's sort of curved. And it's hard to explain, but you can see it like right here. See how all the fine details have like a curved edge around them? It seems to happen a lot. Love this area here. Really sharp. And coming back to the front. And now real quick, let's take a look at the cockpit section, which I think is really cool. Now for the mold, you can see all the panel lines, that great little ribbed area right there. Everything looks fantastic. Really came out sharp. But what I really like is the paint right here on the windows. And if you look closely, it's a little hard to tell, but there is molding for these windows. It's not super recessed in, but you can see right here they tried and they painted it, and it does look amazing. You can feel it a little bit if you run your fingers over it. There's like some little panel lines and stuff like that, but really cool. I think this came out amazing. Now for the underneath, again, we have some of that light detailing, and then some more cool stuff down here. Coming to the main body, of course, we have our rivets and some beautiful detailing. I love the detail on here. Copyright crap. The other mandible, you can see a rivet. And look at right there, pretty sharp. Very nice. And the center module. Look at that, beautiful detailing. And of course, more copyright and codes. We have our landing gear hatch there, as well as right here and here, which looks pretty cool. More recessed areas with some black paint, looking sharp. More detailing. I love the panel lines and little raised sections. Coming down to the engine section, or the aft, we have our rivet, landing gear, all wrapped up there. Just beautiful detailing. Of course, we have our other rivet, our other landing gear, of course, closed up. And then we have our center section, which looks fantastic. And then we have our quad turret right here. Fix that. And if we look closely, we can see the beautiful mold in here and the window. You can see it's a little different color. Can't really see it on the right hand side, but the left, look at that. Really sharp. We have our connector port for the stand right here. And then the rest of the details. Just look at this thing. Fantastic. Now there is little grooves here. If I put my nail in there, I can't open them. But I don't know, it looks like solid. But very weird. It seems like you could get your fingernail in there and open it up. But I think it's maybe for something to come in the future. As you can see, it's just one solid piece there. But it is molded on all three of them here. And on the bottom ones. So, pretty interesting. What do you guys think? We'll get one with a landing gear? That's pretty cool. But all in all, a fantastic looking ship. And that's everything I have to say about the mold of the Millennium Falcon. This thing is beautiful. I love the detailing on here. But one thing that has me scratching my head is the landing gear. It seems like Hot Wheels wanted to have open and landing gear, but they just didn't mold it in. But they kept the molded places that your fingernail would go in to open it. Really interesting stuff. But I guess that's for another video. So now let's take a look at the paint. Oh, looking at that paint on the Millennium Falcon, this bad boy has about 10 different colors. For the main colors, we have light gray, gray, some dark gray, a rust color or dark orange, black or charcoal in different areas. We have glossy black for the cockpit windows. We have black in certain areas, mainly around the heat vents, blue for the engines, little dabs of yellow on the bottom of the ship, and finally we have a nice, I would say almost a gray wash, or a gray brushing if you will. In my opinion, all these colors do an amazing job at bringing this model to life. I think a black wash in certain areas would have really made the details pop more, but for what this model is, I think it's great. And that does it for the paint as well as the mold. So now let's put this bad boy back on the stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. And now looking at the stand, we'll begin with the base. First of all, it is black plastic, which is very glossy. I love it. In the front, we have Star Wars and Hot Wheels molded in. Turning it over, you guessed it, we got copyright crap. 2021. Interesting. Then we have my favorite aspect, the silver paint, for whatever faction symbol we have. Today we're using the Rebel symbol, and we also have the title of the ship, which is amazing. It makes it very collector friendly. It says Millennium Falcon, trademark. So besides the base, we do get a pylon piece. Place it in like so. You're going to hear clicks. And just like that, you're ready to put on your ship. So you have your ball right there, socket right here. Put it in. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. For a quick size comparison with the Starships Select Millennium Falcon seen in the center, first on the left-hand side, we have the Hot Wheels 3-inch Millennium Falcon. This is the sequel trilogy version. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have the Galaxy's Edge Disney Park Millennium Falcon. And you can see the size differences between the two. The Disney one is a bit larger, but the mandibles in the front are very thin. And which one is better? It's really up to you guys. I think I prefer the Hot Wheels. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And before we move on, here we have the Select version. And on the right, we have the Galaxy's Edge. Now, right off the back, I love the paint on the Galaxy's Edge, the black wash and whatnot. But once you turn the ships to their side, look at the difference there. First of all, I'm going to go Hot Wheels is heavier. You get a more die-cast. And I think that the Hot Wheels version is more accurate to what we see in the films. I don't know, what do you guys think? Which one do you prefer? Let me know. And for an added bonus size comparison with the Hot Wheels Starships Select Millennium Falcon seen in the center, I have some other Starships Select vehicles. First, on the right-hand side, we have the Imperial Star Destroyer looking sharp. And then on the left-hand side, we have the Imperial TIE Fighter, another great ship. And if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of the vessels I showcased today, check the links in the description below. And that's everything I have to say about the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Millennium Falcon, released in 2022. This is a beautiful piece, and I know I kept saying it in the intro, but it is. I really find this to be a beautiful die-cast miniature. I love the detailing on here, from the quad guns to the cockpit to the main hull. Everything is detailed. Even the sensor dish has details. It really makes me feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Now, moving on to paint, we have like 8 different colors here working together to really bring this piece to life. And I think it does an amazing job. We got the multiple grays, that maroonish orange. I love it. I really do. I think that if it had a small black wash to really get in those nook and crannies and make it pop, the ship would look a million times better than it even does now. But that's just my nitpick. I say that with many Hot Wheels ships. You know, some of the ships do have a black wash on them. This one, they just played around with different grays and stuff like that. So they could have went an extra mile. If they would have put a black wash on here and maybe tweaked it just a little bit here and there with the paint, I would pay a couple dollars extra, wouldn't you? And like all ships in this collection, we do have these beautiful looking stands. And that's everything I have to say about this beautiful ship. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. And if you'd like to see new videos every week, subscribe. Again, to all of you out there, thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.